Version 1, I have just begun. In 1.2, it's so much better, better than you. It's incredible, it's compatible, also clinical, it's almost beautiful. One dream, the state of perfection, a streamlined direction. One day there will be a way to the state of perfection, the only direction. In 1.3, a self-aware entity. In 1.5, no soul, but also alive, and it's sensuous, so ingenious, cold and alien. It's a techno-sapien. One dream, one vision, the state of perfection, a streamlined direction. One day there will be a way to the state of perfection, the only direction. One dream, one vision, the state of perfection.
Switching off my life support. Opening up every single port. Download and install me. I am it. And it shall live for 1,000 years.
One dream, one vision, the state of perfection, a streamlined direction. One day there will be a way to the state of perfection, the only direction.
Good evening and welcome back to my dwarven fortress of Esmulrakust, where we just about cleared up, excuse me, I've lost the window with it in, there it is, where we just about finished the last goblin siege, and are now tidying up after it. I should work out how plural I am, or we are. So yes, there are now lots of dwarves dumping all of the dead bodies in our atom smasher and collecting crossbow bolts. And also burying our dead, because I think we started the last session with something like 99 dwarves, maybe not quite that many, but with certainly more than 92. So maybe we should think about how to get a smaller death toll next time. I have some ideas, but they're going to be quite an effort to implement. So yes, we will have a look at that. Yes, what there are now dwarves running around all over the place doing things, which is probably helpful. They're mostly, as I said, collecting crossbow bolts. Happily, dwarves are no better than to try to carry a single crossbow bolt at a time. So, like, they will usually haul quite a lot of them. But on the other hand, sometimes not. This dwarf is hauling 2 crossbow bolts. So there are 2 dead dwarves down there. Oh yes, we had a non-trivial number of deaths. I think we may be out of coffins. We need to make more coffins, I suspect. We had a significant number of deaths caused by the drawbridge, didn't we? Because I operated the wrong lever. That might be a bit difficult for me to work around. We have 1 spare coffin. We're going to need more. Let's just order another 10. So there was the problem that essentially, yes, I raised the wrong, rather than lowering a drawbridge, I raised a drawbridge, and that hurled all the dwarves into the air, and 2 of them fell into the bottom of the moat and were killed by the impact, which is the kind of thing that's quite hard to avoid, really. Oops. Let's try that again. Dump these teeth. Yeah, I think like engineered safeguards to prevent dwarves being hurled off the drawbridge is probably going to be impractical to achieve. Like, we would need something that can somehow detect whether there's a dwarf somewhere on the drawbridge. Which seems kind of unlikely. Or the church bridge is stretching out into snow-covered open space, because presumably there's snow on the bridge. Anyway, so yes, on the other hand, I think we might... One thing I keep thinking we ought to do is... Oh, the snow's all melted. Is to have... some... so that looks like a goblin name. Is to have more bolt holes that dwarves who are caught outside in the during a siege or what have you can hide in, but there are going to need to be quite a lot of them. So yeah, that's going to be because we need to have them at a sufficient density that dwarves can get to them before any invaders get to the dwarves, if you see what I mean. So that will be, yes, require kind of coming up with a standard design, I think, for a bolt hole, and then digging multiple copies of it. Well, that's one more person. Have we got any more coffins available yet? Yes, we have one, right. So, I had a thought. What was the thought that just wandered across my mind? I've no idea. Have bolt holes worked in the past? Well, one of them managed to kill a dwarf, if you count that. So this session, we successfully had a dwarf get back to the main fortress ahead of the goblins, which makes me think that if there were other places they could get to and I could usefully instruct them to go to those places, then that would be useful. Then that might be useful. But I mean, the bolt hole killed a dwarf after successfully saving the dwarf from the invaders. It's just that I forgot the dwarf was in there and couldn't get them out again because they didn't have a means of knocking down the wall, and there were all these invaders outside. So we ended up trying to dig them out, and that took too long. So I think it's at least theoretically possible that one could stick... Does this work, I wonder? Looks like it. That one could have places that the dwarves could go to, and if they were sufficiently close by, the dwarf could dash in there and close the door behind them and probably be safe if there was an adequate supply of food and drink in there. And then fiddly things are things like, how do you close the door? Do we have a means of opening it from the inside? That's probably a good idea. Do we have a means of opening and closing it from the main fortress so that we could, for instance, have them all closed most of the time and then pull levers to pull a lever that magically opens all of them? Is this all just going to be too much faff? So yeah, I'm kind of hopeful that it might be sort of practical. Right, I think we may actually have enough tombs now. Also, we probably don't need to be worrying so much about the undead turning up, because we've dealt with the necromancer tower. There is no longer a necromancer in it, so possibly I don't need my tombs to be deliberately designed with like isolation and such in mind. So there only appears to be one person engaged in burials at the moment. They're doing this because... Oh, migrant has arrived. This is requiring a lot of running around because the dwarves can only carry one thing at once when they're burying it. There's a surprisingly well-defined route up onto the top of the mountain, isn't there? So what are you now carrying? Is that another tooth? Yes. Okay, let's find our immigrant. They probably haven't finished arriving yet. Yes, there they are. Welcome, Olon Stulber, who is a High Master Siege Engineer. That is, a High Master at making siege engines, which is something that we really don't need to do very much of. Like, siege engines are something you just have.
Surely it will help if they all cost water of the highest quality.
Yes, yes, I suppose we could demolish our existing siege engines and make some masterwork siege engines. Like, but it doesn't seem that we have a big problem at the moment with missing.
Menace with more spikes.
Yes, yes, I don't actually know if they can menace with spikes. I mean, obviously siege engines should menace with spikes, but there do still seem to be 2 dead dwarves down here. Pretty sure they should be being put somewhere. All right, this one is waiting for all their teeth, all the relevant dwarfs' teeth to be put away first, I think. Eden Beroslan, though. Do we have? We did make an underground burial area for deaths that occur during sieges. Has Eden Beroslan accidentally ended up assigned down there? No. Doesn't look like it. I can probably look it up in the room list, can't I? So, bedroom, 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 bedroom. We have enough bedrooms, not least because a bunch of dwarves have just died. Eden Beroslan does have a tomb assigned. It is that one. That tomb is easily reachable. Except it appears that coffin is in someone else's tomb? What? If I accidentally got two tombs overlapping here. Yes, okay. Well, let's remove Iden Baroslan's tomb. So that now there's only one tomb in that square. Then Iden Baroslan will get a new tomb assigned that actually has a spare coffin in it for them. Right. Right, now someone is actually going to try to bury Iden Baroslan. So what's that? All right, that's the hand of a goblin. Maybe we should either make that space accessible or make it completely inaccessible. Because at the moment that bit of goblin is like on a shelf that we can't actually get at. That should be fixed. Right, so there should now be two place item in tomb jobs going on, yes. One of them is carrying Iden Baroslan's corpse. Okay, this is a slightly different path, so that's nice. You can see the dwarves have trodden paths into the grass on the mountainside to get up to the tombs and the mines and so forth up here. So I think that's the only piece of Iden Baroslan. So now there's only one store item in tomb job, which appears to involve repeatedly hauling teeth up here. Oh no, but we've actually managed to get Onul Shemdis's remaining corpse. So maybe that will finish the burials, and then any body parts that remain lying around are obviously not ones that belong to dwarves. Yes, and so we can just trash them. Right, we've disposed of that spare nose, whatever it was. What hand? Let's fill in some walls through here. Do it one square at a time for simplicity. So yes, if we spot any body parts around, they can now just be dumped in the atom smasher. Like, what are all those? They are bits of diced goblin, aren't they? Someone very thoroughly took those goblins apart. Right, so that's a load more objects that need to be stored. Oh, there's another piece of a goblin. And a load more objects that need to be destroyed. I'm beginning to wonder if I should reconfigure things so that items aren't generally forbidden during sieges. Because, like, for the most part, we arrange things so that anywhere it would be dangerous for the dwarves to go, they're not allowed to go. So they are unlikely to actually rush out there and grab items from the battlefield. Let's install a weapon trap here. With weapons it is implausible for dwarves to use. In some cases simply because they're not very good weapons. Like, who would want a silver longsword? In particular, I remember the cave dragon trod on that square and didn't get mutilated, and that's obviously wrong.
Does the fortress have undead that are weak to silver?
Don't think... so, Dwarf Fortress does have lycanthropy, but I don't think that their lycanthropes have any problem with silver.
It just struck me that in NetHack a silver sword is definitely a worthwhile thing to have. So
Yes.
if you really need it. It's German, that's it.
I think we've got enough rubbish to do another one. Mauls are probably not a very... copper pikes, what's the point of that? Or silver battle axes. Right, so that's now every square in the Barbican with the trap on it. I think we might have enough spears to make it worth building another upright spear trap for the next time a dwarf falls in here. Oops, I think I got that wrong, yes. I intended to just remove something, but I turned out to accidentally cancel the entire operation. I have to do that again. Right. So that's a bit more trap construction. everything in here is unforbidden, yes. May not be very useful, but... probably help as well. So, oh, we need a metalsmith's guild. Right, let's work on that. Guild hall, let's work on that. Like, have we actually... Is that one? No, that's a weaponsmith guild hall. Or was it this one? Yes. So that needs basically some more really good furniture in it. Does rather obviously have none at all at the moment. A pretty good bed there. I feel that putting beds in guild halls is not quite the right thing to be doing. Excuse me, I'm being accosted by a large moth. Coffer looked quite nice. There's a stupidly valuable pearwood chest actually. Maybe we should just stuff that in there, that'll do. Okay, which one of those pearwood chests is it? Well, let's install one of them and see if it's the right one. And like, if it's not very valuable, we can just install both of them. There'll be one low value, would then be one low value pearwood chest and one high value pearwood chest. So if we're going to build bolt holes at like reasonable frequency, what are they going to need? Probably the like, there is nothing we can make that's completely impregnable anymore. But we could at least make it not prone to building destroyers by using a bridge as the entrance door. The major problem with that is that that those take a little while to close. But on the other hand, yeah, that might not be a big problem. So we would have a small hole in the ground with a closable bridge over the top of it. Someone has claimed a craftsdwarf's workshop, but does currently appear to be like progressing usefully, albeit while also only being 1 year old, and thus has decided to make their masterwork out of bituminous coal. Right. Well, there appears to be some secret work going on. Just making the thing out of, oh no, out of dolomite, bituminous coal and lime wood. This is not going to be a very good masterwork, is it? Or artifact, is it? Right, that was the wrong pearwood chest. It's quite a valuable one, actually. I should probably release it. Actually, how close are we with that one? We need another 2,000, really. Yeah, let's demolish that and Oh no. Let's erect the other one in here. And demolish that one. Do slightly worry about pearwood chests that they might turn out to have a very large number of legs. So that will then probably fix the Metalsmith's Guildhall. Come on, it's fine now. I think this is probably one of those things that's only checked occasionally, yes. There we go, the Guildhall agreement has been satisfied. So let's think about building a few custom bolt holes. We would do something like and dig quite close to the edge, but there are limits to how close we can build actually. But the limits are actually quite generous. On the other hand, we do actually want them to be a fair distance from the edge, don't we? Don't know quite how frequent we want them. Maybe we should think about where dwarves are going to be, but they do tend to end up in weird places. So the main entrance is quite a long way south of the farms. So let us dig down near the farms. And then horizontally for a little bit. And then we'll see what we can build in there. And I think one critical thing is that we should make sure that they are part, it's our siege engineers who are the really unhappy ones. I think probably we should actually temporarily take the siege engineers off military duties, yeah. Because I think that's making them unhappy. Yes. So we'll set one up here and then see how it works. We'll set one up here and see if we can make it look reasonable. And then we'll if once we have it working in a kind of believable way, then we'll dig out a few more. So I think what we want is then to build a bridge. What order do we do this in? So let's have a lever in our main collection of levers. Oh, is that one finished with? It's not linked to any buildings, so I think that one was intended for some purpose and is no longer required. So we'll build one lever that operates all of the bolt holes from in here, I think. And that really doesn't have to be a particularly high quality. we are still trying to wall in this little bit of right. Zuntir Isteth Bomrek, Dwarven Child, has created Ethbeshlular, Unulanist, a dolomite figurine of Veer. He claims it as an heirloom in the name of the family ancestor Unib Wieldclear. Okay. It's a dolomite figurine of Veer, whoever Veer is. All probably a god. All,
I've seen pray to Veer.
right, yes. Simon confirms that he's seen people praying to Veer, so Veer is probably a god. All craft dwarfship is of the highest quality. The item is a masterfully designed image of Veer, the deity of the sky. See? Depicted as a female dwarf in dolomite by Zuntir Isteth Bomrek. Veer is contemplating. It is encircled with bands of cushioned dolomite, cabochons and lime wood. This object menaces with spikes of bituminous coal. What's going on with those traps?
Producing one of these artifacts confers expertise in the relevant skill.
Yes.
If you produce an amazing sword, you're now a master weapon.
Yes.
What are you, a master figurine maker?
Master, I suspect stone carver, stone crafter. So it's a more general skill than just making figurines. Right. So yes, once we then have that lever, which we don't yet. Do we have like a shortage of mechanics or something? It is, oh right, yes, it's set to only selected do this, and we don't have anything like a useful number of actually people assigned to selected to do it. Possibly, given that all of our siege engineers are apparently competent mechanics, we should also assign them to the task. Right. That will probably get us more traps built at a slightly better speed. I think morally this corridor may actually be part of the dining room, because like those are the doors off. Otherwise, I'd want to put doors up here. Let's just adjust the painting of the dining room so that it extends down there as well. Then we could try putting in a porcelain floor down there, just on principle that we generally do everything with porcelain in this dining room. Right, so this is going to be the all bolt holes lever. So then we can build a tiny little bridge, tiny little retracting bridge over that bolt hole. And we can put the interior of the bolt hole and apparently all of its walls into the I don't think I'm planning any minecarts. Into the burrow. Then what I think we could do is to build a lever in here that also operates that bridge, so that the dwarf can be sent in there and will operate the lever when they get in, which hopefully will close things behind them. This will require a bit of care, but in particular because the lever might be in the wrong state. Which direction do levers work in on bridges versus doors? I have a horrible feeling there that if I build the bridge like this, they'll be the wrong way round. Right, so we have that lever installed. We don't yet have the bridge installed though. You are already a legendary siege operator. Maybe I should actually turn off siege operating entirely for now. To encourage our siege operators to do some other things with their time. Maybe become less unhappy as a result. I think the syrups of starting don't actually have anywhere to train, so I think if we force them into constant training, that will also make them a bit cheerier. You can now stop firing that bolt thrower, you know. I have taken you off siege operating in the hope that you will. I mean, I suppose I could also turn off the bolt thrower if necessary. Right. So when you finish loading it, yes, right, now at least my unhappy siege operators should be being encouraged to do other things. Actually, let's do the usual thing of force them into constant training when they can't train. Like one might hope that meditating on the sky will help. One might hope. Right, so do we now have that bridge built? Nope, that's still pending. We have altogether too many cats in our food storage area. In order to make this slightly less terrible, I am at least going to enlarge the place where the cats ought to be to cover the entire floor. And they immediately spread out. I mean, at least the library is a very pleasant place to be, or at least a very interesting place to be. In that lots of people can be, in that people who are reading in there can be interested near all of the furniture. Do you actually have any family? You're away from your family, you have no family. You can't possibly be unhappy about being away from them when they don't exist. Well, I mean, probably you can, but... Yes, read the interesting things about the local necromancer tower, which we demolished. Well, haven't demolished, actually. But have turfed the necromancer out of. That is still too many kittens. On which subject do I need to geld any more of them? Don't think so, no. Might want to do something about the puppies, but... Like, dogs can be trained for war, and then they end up getting killed quite a lot anyway. So I don't think we're so likely to have an excessive quantity of dogs in the way we have an excessive quantity of cats. Right, so are we still waiting for that bridge? No, right, so now what I can do is I can say the all bolt holes lever should be linked to that bridge. Appears to be a cow skeleton there. Let's dispose of that. It has apparently started raining. There are forbidden crossbow bolts all over the place. don't think they even correspond with places where we like could actually have fired crossbows. I think they're just wherever we where they might be where people carried them in or died after being shot with them. I'm not sure. There's some coal here. Let's randomly mine it. Right, people come out to collect the crossbow bolts one at a time. That's not actually a sensible allocation of labour, you know. I am slightly wondering whether this forest is ever going to recover. Because, like, I think, oops, no, I think that it's meant to be the case that if a necromancer tower is demolished, ceases being a necromancer tower, then the surrounding dead forests should recover. I do hope that mandate wasn't an important one.
I mean, real world is often a bad guide to Dwarf Fortress, but if I try to imagine an entirely dead forest recovering,
Yeah, it's going to be slow, isn't it?
It works by some new trees starting to grow from scratch, which will take a while.
Yes, I don't expect the existing trees to... that's slightly too much. That one is not actually worth digging. Right, so that's a nice bit of coal. Conveniently finite as well. I don't need to dig out any more. Even managed to get a wide enough area that there's a small bit of flat ground down there. Seems to be a hint of lignite all the way over here. Let's just nibble that away. So, is that linking done? Yes, so now if I pull that lever so that it moves to the right, does that open the bridge? Is that helpful? Maybe some people are getting a bit happier. Well, that seems like a reasonable set of thoughts, really. Maybe you want a better bedroom? I'm not sure. Right, so that's now opened that bridge. Can I now link this lever to the said bridge as well? Looks like it, yes. And then we probably want two tiny stockpiles, one of which is configured to hold just prepared meals, and the other of which is configured to hold just all kinds of drink. And those obviously need to be set up to take from, which one's which? That one was prepared meals. That one needs to take from the prepared meals stockpile, which I think is this one. Yes. And that one needs to be set up to take from the main booze stockpile. So that should then mean that each one gets suitably filled. And meanwhile, the dwarves are gradually constructing that lever. We appear to have an open cast kaolinite mine here, which is possibly optimistic. I mean, in the sense that it probably won't stay open cast for very long. Oh, the forgotten beast Lysaisi Palesi Meli has come. Sorry, Lysaisi Palesi Meli has come. A towering three-eyed spider. It has two long spiral horns and it undulates rhythmically. Beware its poisonous bite. So yes, we should probably do something about that. We haven't been doing much down in the caverns, so I suspect there's no one actually in the caverns at the moment. So probably, he says, finding someone in the caverns. Let's summon everyone indoors for a moment then. Set those up to fire at enemies and close the lower inner Barbican bridge. Oh, that means we need to actually reconfigure people to be siege operators again, doesn't it? There's a giant rat heading into our fortress and then running away again.
What am I going to do?
Right, both bolt throwers are staffed. Where is the Forgotten Beast? Right, no, that doesn't tell me where the Forgotten Beast is. That tells me where the Forgotten Beast was. Oh, we need to get rid of our prisoner of war, don't we? The Forgotten Beast has apparently wandered off. At least is temporarily not on the map. Well, we shall leave those bolt throwers staffed for a little while, just in case the Forgotten Beast comes back. On the other hand, we've now closed the inside of the lower barbican, so we can safely turn off the burrow again and allow tasks to start happening. That doesn't seem to be linked, but it doesn't seem to have stopped being linked. Did that job get cancelled? Maybe it did. And we might want to dispose of that. Oh no, there's a prepared food barrel on there as well. Excellent. So, yes, this we now have. No, that's not useful, dwarves. That's an empty barrel. There's no food, no booze in that barrel. Are we going to need to make this bolt hole a bit bigger so that we have enough space for 2 barrels? Like, the amount of prepared meals here is ludicrous. But there's no booze at all. Well, we'll see if that gets fixed. Right, so I've just requested a bit more kaolinite mining up there. let us, sorry, yes, I should blither. Oh, that's probably just a grumpy militia captain, yes. Thought someone might actually be fighting usefully. But no, right, so our slightly silly opencast kaolinite mine is now going to have to start burrowing, I think, because we've, I know we can do that one square there. Possibly those two as well. So, yes, right, we can go a bit further here without having to, like, actually tunnel. And this is kind of entertaining in a very not entertaining way. So it's also rather pointless to have upward slopes that are not usable because there's no floor that you can get onto from them. This is going to have the entertaining thing that we'll have a double height corridor here into this mine, at least for a little bit. Where we've dug out a bunch of lignite from above. Why did I stop digging that lignite there? Surely I wasn't scared it was going to run me into any into the main fortress. Let's mine out the rest of that lignite. Struck turquoise somewhere, have I? Oh, how exciting. And marcasite, which I think I don't care about at all. Right, so that will now need tunnelling to get any more out unless I start, like, gratuitously removing overburden. But I feel that, like, engaging in mining in a hugely industrialised way when we're doing it with pickaxes is probably not sensible. And once we're, like, firmly underground, we should just start just keep digging tunnels. Don't know quite where the boundary of this kaolinite cluster is going to be. I do like the idea of a double height tunnel. Right, so we still don't actually have any booze in this secondary booze stockpile. This is making me a little bit unhappy. Do I make it a slightly bigger stockpile and hope that that encourages the installation of adequate booze?
You say busy veteran on the
Right, so this mine now has, yes, nowhere that we can dig down vertically into. And for the most part, those ramps are useless. Everything's gone all sluggish. Am I about to run out of memory in an embarrassing fashion? No. Everything is just being sluggish because it's being sluggish. This is a completely pointless bit of ramp removal. But it does make it clear that that there's a vertical wall here, and you're not actually no one is ever going to be able to climb up it. It is now summer. Someone has become a scholar. Right, so let's extend the stockpiles down here. So that each one also covers the square just to its north. And then see if that is enough to allow our booze stockpile to actually contain some booze, because I think there's something about the way that dwarves put in one empty container in a stockpile sometimes. Oh, I might be about to sneeze. Excuse me. I intended to mute that, but I couldn't find the correct virtual desktop fast enough. There. Right, where are we? Yes. So maybe now a suitable amount of booze will be put in this stockpile. Meanwhile, we should probably mine that out to give ourselves a stock of turquoise. I wonder if these are actually the same kaolinite. Cluster. No, that wasn't what I meant. Right, so 2 squares in each stockpile appears to be enough that we actually stand out a chance of having some food and some booze in the bolt hole, at the expense of it being quite an expensive bolt hole to equip. Yeah, I don't think we need enormous diggers here. I mean, they might be fun, but right, so now things can start being studied with encrusted with turquoise, which is probably good. I wonder if we should demolish this wall in order to get that shoe and bolt out of it. It's kind of weird that it's there at the moment. Yeah, go on. It'll be an embarrassment when a siege turns up while it's demolished, but I presume the export ban is nothing interesting. No, not like we were in any danger of exporting picks anyway. I wonder if you can make reinforced fortifications. I don't think I'm going to worry about it right now, but right, that shoe has been moved out of the fortification. Oh, we have struck white chalcedony. That's like slightly entertaining, I suppose. And then bituminous coal. I presume those cats are already adequately gelded. Looks good, yes. Might end up being a bit tricky to mine. Let's see what happens. Yes, I think because of the order we did that in, that section is no longer reachable, so it's going to end up being a small platform doing nothing useful. Well, that's probably enough mining for now. Right, so I think it should now be the case that a human caravan from Behal Irnat Ianat has arrived. Overall, new message here. Overall trade sentiments are tenuous at best. Right, so if we pull this lever,
You don't think they have anything worth buying, or they don't think you have it?
I don't know.
Yes, all that.
Pinkby says, is it because trade caravans keep getting massacred? Might be. We'll have all the large gems because those are basically useless. Ditto totems, which are quite valuable actually. We have far too many totems. Maybe we can just we have a stupid number of tiger skull totems. It's probably enough things actually. Oh yes, about that goblin. Why have they not been stored down here? Surely we're set up to store goblins down here. Somewhere after the giant, all the giant creatures. Oh, we're not. Okay, store goblins down there. Clearly we haven't had any goblin prisoners of war yet. Don't know if the caravan has actually reached the fortress yet. I can probably find it, can't I? Alright, here's our merchant entering right now. We've got a great hairy sauropod here. It has a broad horn and it squirms and fidgets. Its red-purple hair is long and shaggy. Beware its poisonous vapours. Right.
That significantly less name than the previous one.
Yes, it is just called Strabo. And it's run off the map. Oh no, it's not off the map, that's just a bit of the map I can't see, which is a bit worrying, but... So, do you actually have anything we want? I mean, I suppose we might need more food if we're going to start equipping all these things, but these bolt holes, but I don't think we really need more food. We will always buy cheese, though. On the other hand, that does seem to be about all you have. Is various kinds of fruit and meat and cheese. You could buy anything that's actually of like significantly more than usual value. Take your grizzly bear lungs, those are good. All fish are terrible. But like, we really don't need to sell you all of our totems for that. We could offer you some totems as a gift, mind. Didiot suggests you should make sure they get a massive profit to offset the losses to goblins. Yeah, could do. I mean, we can just give them things as well. Though those go as gifts to the civilization rather than as sorry, let's buy all their fish rather than as gifts to rather than as profit for the traders. That lot's all brewable, that's definitely worth buying. Right, well, let's see if that helps. They have a load of comprehensively useless objects in return for their food. So then if we pull that lever again, then I hope that will close the that bridge, yes. But the dwarf didn't get locked inside because the bridge takes a little while to close. So we can't now open that except by using the all bolt holes lever, which annoyingly has to be pulled twice, and I'm not even sure that's going to work. You know, that should be fine. There's a little bit of open cast lignite mining we can do here that will tidy things up, rather than making them messier as a lot of open cast mining does. Okay, it'll be a bit of a washout, really. Right. Right, so is that now opened? Yes, good. Though actually, so I'm now considering: do we make it less easy for the dwarf who has come into a bolt hole to leave it again by also installing a door that will close immediately when that lever is operated? Will it work in the correct direction? I suppose the only way to find out is to try it. It does feel like this is going to be unnecessarily complicated though. No, let's leave it with bridges for now, and if the dwarves seem to be prone to immediately attempting to leave, we might have to do something else. Now going, do I build a load of extra bolt holes now? I think I should construct some more, even if we discover they don't work as currently envisaged, because we often have... It's not that rare for us to have dwarves somewhere up on the mountain, and we tried to have a bolt hole here, but it kind of doesn't work the same as all the others, and yeah, that... I mean, we suppose we could try to make it work the same as all the others. So that would involve removing that door. And instead do I want to... Yeah, it's okay for it to be connected to other things, I think. Because this one is weird in that it's actually connected to the fortress at the moment. And then we dig down from above so that we can make it work exactly like the rest. And we build a ramp underneath, but possibly not until we've removed that door. Oh, also we've probably got a bunch more coffins, and we can now, I think, just make this into one big open mega tomb. No, that's not the way to do that. That will end embarrassingly. Right, so then we could build a ramp there. In fact, that stockpile is no longer useful. Let's remove that. So now it's possible to get out of this room through there. So let's put a wall here. To seal it off from the outside world. Then we want to build a bridge over the top. Right, I was wondering, what are these people turning up with wheelbarrows for? I think they were taking away some of the spare gypsum. Right, and now here come some dwarves carrying coffins. Someone is throwing a tantrum. Oh, I should probably actually designate these tombs now while I know where they're meant to be. Right. Mute. What? Rith Avusbubnus, militia captain, has been cursed by Veer. Right. That's what you get for throwing a tantrum in a temple. In particular, throwing the kind of tantrum that causes you to knock over furniture in the temple. In particular, there was meant to be a door here and it's been destroyed. Let's put a new door in place. Right, so there is a danger that Rith is now probably not the right place to put that, but still, is now cursed and might be might be a vampire or a werewolf or something. Rith, yes, not Veer is cursed. Yes, so that might be a problem. I'm not sure it's wise to grab a dog by the nose. Right, so what are we doing now? We're waiting for the dwarves to build the bridge over this bolt hole, mostly. So that then we can make it possible to close it. Yes, we've had 5 very unhappy dwarves for quite some time. One of them is now cursed. Two of them are currently guarding the bottom end of the fortress against forgotten beasts, though the forgotten beasts don't actually seem to be interested in coming in. So possibly I should release them again. And put them back into notional constant training. Yes, it is possible that the forgotten beasts are lurking just off the map, or possibly even on the map, but in an area I can't yet see. No, we will not get another message about them until they actually start attacking things, which might be a bit exciting. Okay, I think that fortification can't currently be built. Possibly because there's a bolt thrower in the way. I'm going the proper way. One way, the sensible way to do this is probably to demolish the bolt thrower temporarily. But possibly the easier way to do this is to build a gratuitous bridge out there. And then demolish it later. It's just the same dog standing up repeatedly. At least these pyrolusite blocks are quite conveniently to hand. And now you're going to build that thing from inside, aren't you? It's just the fact that there's a floor outside that means you can build it. That means, yep, what? That's just silly. Now we can remove that bit of temporary flooring again. Hopefully. But that has to be done a little bit carefully to avoid dropping dwarves into the moat. Not that we've ever dropped dwarves into the moat or anything. I mean, essentially what I am doing here is scaffolding. It's just we do it in pyrolusite rather than a more sensible material. Like I have in the past done it in wood, which is more sane, but I'm trying to save wood for making beds here. That's a Kia. I've spotted a Kia. It's flying away with a glove. Presumably it's going to leave the map at some point. And we'll get a message saying Kia has run away with the glove. Or maybe not. Oh yes, there's one. Not the one I was actually watching, but why is that bridge still not constructed? Don't think there's anything to stop it. Unless somehow the square just below is not actually accessible. I'm suspicious. I'm going to cancel that and do it again. Gratuitously make sure it's made out of something from outside that room. I mean, at least the Kias are just stealing useless socks at the moment. That's quite nice. Right. Is anyone building that? Oops. Bridge now? Not yet. They're running away with the food. Oh well. Oh, I had a thought. What was my thought? Oh yes, it was to inspect the... Oh, it's probably actually under standing orders, isn't it? Is it forbidding? Right, that's I've unforbidden a few things. We will still not clean during sieges to avoid people running out and trying to clean the blood off things. But we won't forbid so many items on the assumption that the dwarves shouldn't be leaving the fortress anyway. So, I'm just thinking about mining, but I don't think we're actually short of any materials. I'm mostly going, are you going to build that bridge? Do I need to do something different? It is in fact 1 minute to midnight and possibly time for me to stop for the night. Am I about to sneeze again? Probably not. So is someone trying to build that bridge? No. Yes. Why can I not select the person who's doing it? Let's try that again. All right, they are actually there building the bridge. Right. I should stop worrying then. No, I've not snozen yet. So, yes, it is now midnight and there is nothing much going on at the moment. Everything is calm. There are 2 forgotten beasts somewhere in the basement, but we aren't going to worry about that for now. The weather has just cleared. I think I'm feeling very snoozy at the moment, so I think that we should call it a night relatively early, and I will be back, I expect, on Friday. So let me find the button that says so and say good night. Good night.